Guys like my lush new background?
It's pretty good.
Off-white, beautiful.
Here goes that intro. That intro.
My Instagram post.
That's a nice beige you got there.
It's a real solid gray, actually. I would appreciate if you took beige out of the equation. Thank you.
It's all about that lighting.
Sorry.
Becky's tits are out.
Grayish.
Becky just showed me her titties.
Damn.
Now that's being recorded on the podcast.
You gotta flip that guy around.
She'll do anything to distract me from what I'm doing. That's the moral of the story here.
Anything?
This is behind the scenes shit right here.
This is why you come to YouTube.
To hear about titties.
We'll tell you all about them titties.
What up, nerds? Welcome to another Mother's Day edition of Straight Showing. Or maybe the first one ever. I don't know. Probably the first one. My name is Bob, and I'm going to be your host for the evening. This is episode number 214, recorded on Sunday, May, whatever today is. I'm not prepared, obviously. 12th. May 12th, 2019. Today we're going to be talking about a movie called The Frighteners. It was a Patreon pick as chosen by good sir Jim G. Baby. Before we get into the review, let me introduce everyone else on the show tonight. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C. once again, my boy Randy Gandy G. Landy.
I'd appreciate if you call me Randy Gandy G. Baby for this episode. Thank you.
Okay. Consider it done.
I'm trying to pay tribute to our loyal patron and good friend Jim G. Baby. Thank you, Jim.
I think you're stealing his name.
Rob, you wrote that out hard.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Hear me now? Okay. Hello.
You might want to shoot down your camera or something. Save yourself some bandwidth. It's running real smooth today. You coming in loud and clear.
Okay. Let's try that. Okay.
Cool.
Maybe that's good.
I don't know what you did, but I like it.
Okay, cool. I
guess we'll take that back. We're going to have to maybe just start from the top on that one.
Yeah.
This is why you come to YouTube.
To hear the worst, least funny outtakes of all time.
Yeah, here we go. I'll just do the whole spiel again. What up, nerds? Welcome to another Mother's Day special-rific Rama episode of Straight Chilling. My name is Bob, and I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode number 214, recorded on Sunday, May 12, 2019. Today we're going to be talking about a movie called The Frighteners, as was chosen by our Patreon supporter, the one, the only, the lovely, the succulent, Jim G. Baby. Before we get into the review, let's go ahead. Let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., once again, my boy Randy Gandy G. Landy.
Hey, everybody's glitching out on me again.
Oh, Randy. You can't see us.
I can see it now. Okay. It came back right as I finished my comment. So it's great. Everything's great. We're not doing that again. I'm in Washington, D.C. again. Name's Andy. Let's continue. The professionalism will not be stopped by any unprofessional acts.
Last but not least, calling in from Southern Korea, my boy Soju.
What up? It's your boy. What are we doing? Mother stains today?
Mother stains, yeah.
Mother stains.
Mother stains just don't come out. They just don't. They're there forever.
What stains come out easily, Randy? Because Satan stains are tough to get out. Tom Cruise stains are hard to get out.
Tom Cruise stains are real easy to get out. You gotta ignore them. Go away.
Yeah.
You can't even OxyClean them bitches.
I can't wait till we do our Father's Day special. I get to be daddy stains.
Oh my God.
And that's eliciting some thoughts. Yeah, that's eliciting some things that shouldn't be spoken aloud.
Anus. What is wrong with these?
What's wrong with
Maybe
you,
we should
Bob?
just
There's
take
nothing
all
wrong with
the top
me.
a third time.
Randy, how's driving across country?
It was fabulous, of course. Becky and I went from Santa Barbara, California to Washington, D.C. in just under 8 days.
Good Lord.
We tried to keep it to like 6 to 8 hours of driving a day, though we did do a nice 12-hour stint. So it was a lot of driving, but we saw a lot of shit too. We saw a lot of fucking Arches State Park, a lot of state parks, national parks, excuse me. So it was great in that regard. But we're happy to be settled.
Good.
Yeah.
I can imagine so. That's a shitload of driving, man.
Yeah, it is. And like what got us through it was everyone's favorite true crime goddamn podcast. That shit will it's like taking a Vicodin for the road. It's just you're just like, narrowed in on whatever's going on with Curtis Flowers or whoever else, and the miles just waste away. Highly recommended. Don't do drugs.
Cool. Very, very cool. Well, I'm glad you're safe and sound in Washington, D.C. once again.
I mean, relative, but sure.
Nestled away in the nation's capital. I like it.
Where nothing bad ever happened.
Nothing at all, man. Let's hit some housekeeping right quick. A reminder that the June poll pick is posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you can vote on a movie we're going to be talking about this June. The theme for June is Korean movies. We got 3 movies up there for you to vote between. We've got A Tale of Two Sisters, The Wailing, and Thirst. Make sure you vote before the end of May, and we'll be talking about the winner of that next month.
Hey, Bob, who won this month, rather?
Inside was the winner.
Ooh.
Way to take it, Randy. One vote. You missed that
I am
episode.
excited about that. Yeah, I did not catch the big reveal, but I'm excited about that shit. That movie is bonkers as fuck.
I know.
So,
by the way, today the boys are back. I mean, God, we haven't been squatted up in a couple episodes now.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
The
That's
mothers
so
brought
well.
us back together.
The mother. What,
We're here-
Mother Superior?
We're here for the mothers.
The Danzig mothers?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Juice, you got any YouTube or Twitch news?
Are we doing housekeeping? All right.
Man, I wish I was drunk too, so I could have an excuse for how this is going so far.
It's gone smooth, Randy.
Cheers.
It is May, and we have started a new Vidge game on the Twitch. It is a game called Bindi and the Ink Machine. And finally, I have gotten the video stream hooked up to the Twitch. So I am no longer just a disembodied voice, which is probably a good game to start this on because it's all about the jump scares. And you know how much of a tension bitch I am. So those jump scares will get me pretty heavy.
That's a game that I actually do own and have played almost all the way through. I haven't completed it yet. That game exclusively relies on the jump scare.
Yeah,
it's very much. But I love the atmosphere in it, so I'm excited to see a little more of that.
Yeah, so
that Juice play.
Got a little hour of that. It's not on the YouTubes yet, but you can watch it on the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Straight Chilling Podcast. First episode is up, and it should be on YouTube shortly. I went ahead and uploaded the end of Inside up on YouTube if you want to watch that. And I had forgotten how blown my mind was by the end of that game. So if you're interested in that, that's up on YouTube as well. I just could not handle that. I still can't quite handle the ending of Inside. I'm still wrestling with what the fuck that game was. So that's up on there. But yeah, other than that, everything's going smooth. That's about it, I think.
Sweet deal. Randy, you want to talk about Joe Bob a little bit since I was gone for the majority of this past Friday?
Sure, I could do that. Yeah, we watched a little Joe Bob Briggs this Friday. I was hosting on our Rabbit Cast, which we do every week while Joe Bob's in session. That's rabb.it/straight chilling, where we live stream the show, and it's fucking awesome, man. We had a great time. It was obviously a twofer like every week, and this week I'm trying I'm like blanking out on the first movie. The second movie was A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. What was our first movie? I'm fucking blanking on it hard.
I don't know. I missed the entirety of the first one. It was some movie that I'd never seen. I'll try and Google it real quick.
Yeah, look it up. I'm just like, it was not something I was familiar with either, and it was a bit of a slog. Though we had some people that were in the chat with us that were like fans. It was Italian horror, Italian sort of like B horror, and we had some fans of that stuff in the feed that were kind of like putting some good context to it, along with Joe Bob. But you know, it was all about A Girl Walks Home, that episode, which actually is a movie I haven't seen for like since it like came out on streaming, like when it first came out on streaming. And I like it a lot better the second time around. The first time, I guess I was kind of like, it's a little bit of a bamboozling movie, but it's a lot of fucking like beautiful, beautiful shots and music in that movie.
And it's the original, right? Like it's not the American remake they were showing.
Is there an American remake?
There is no.
It's an American movie cosplaying as a Syrian movie, so it's already American.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it might be confusing with
the filmmaker is Iranian, but she's like American Iranian.
It
was filmed in America.
Okay, never mind then. I was confused. All right, here. I like that movie quite a bit. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Freaking great.
Some great fucking acting in that movie too, actually. Like it's a very oblique movie, and like apparently there was some uproar amongst the Shutterites that are like, why is Joe Bob doing this extremely artsy recent movie? Because apparently Joe Bob's supposed to be limited to exclusively like pure schlock. But I mean, I was glad he did. It's good. I like hearing about what Joe Bob has to say about all kinds of movies, even when he's.
That one's grown on me for sure. That was one that at first I was like, well, but it's beautifully shot.
Yeah, it is. It's a good one. I suggest you guys show up next week. It sounds like Joe Bob's going back to the schlock hard because of the from his fans that are like, hey, why aren't you showing like fucking more movies like Pieces, which, you know, have had. I'm more than happy to watch some of that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Contamination
it was a little bit of a departure.
Movie.
Contamination, that's right. It's an alien ripoff. Was it Italian? It was a foreign film that was cosplaying as an American film, and it was really interesting. It was basically a bunch of like snot-looking eggs that made farting sounds, and then eventually, like turned into like chest bursters essentially, and made people's chests burst.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a budget to be in outer space, so they just kind of flew around in a biplane a lot. Yep, that was Contamination. Bit of a slow one, but it was a good time anyway. As always, please show up to our cast next week, and we'll be happy to go into the schlock realm with you.
How many more weeks of Joe Bob is there?
I think it's 2.
Just
is it 2?
Yeah, just 2 more, which is kind of a bummer, man. Especially because the last week I won't be able to make it at all, which sucks.
Rob, your life.
I know.
Well, good news is Shudder keeps them on streaming. So
I love watching it live though, like so much. It's so much fun. Great. I don't know.
So much fun.
I don't know. There's something to it, man. Especially now that we have the little group going. It's fun as shit. I love it. Also, just a quick reminder that we're doing a crossover live show next Saturday, May 18th, with the Short Box podcast. It's going to be here in Jacksonville, Florida, at the Justice Pub at 7 o'clock. We're going to be talking about Creep Show, both in movie form and comic book form. We're going to have some video games set up there for you guys to hang out and play before and after the show. The Justice Pub is pretty dope. It's like a really spacious bar. They got a really nice stage we're going to be set up on. So come hang out with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've also got some really cool posters that Cesar and Ashley designed for this event that we're going to be selling. Make sure you come grab one of those. It's going to be a good
Give me one of them motherfuckers.
I'll get you one. I'll get y'all one.
All right.
For show. But that's pretty much it for housekeeping. Let's go ahead and talk about what we've been watching this week. Randy, what you been watching?
Well, it's been a while since I recorded with you guys, so quite a bit over the break for me. A lot of it was just trip stuff. We watched way too much fucking Shark Tank for one sitting. It was shameful. It was just what was on when the TV turned on in every fucking hotel room we were in, and for some like I was just like drawn to that shit. It's terrible. It's a terrible show, but man, it was getting me.
I've been there,
watching
man.
Mark Cuban be a dick to people. It's like Capitalism, the show, where people come in with their businesses and then try to get investors, like 5 like world famous investors like Mark Cuban and other dickwads, and they try and convince them that their company's worth shit, and if they think so, they invest in it. That's literally the whole show. And people have some really dumb and some really smart ideas, so it's really just more about like, oh, that's kind of interesting, or oh, that's a terrible fucking idea. What, this guy's losing his mind. Yeah, so it's really, yeah, that's about it. That, and then when I finally got here, I started like hitting that Criterion channel a little bit. I watched Rashomon last night, which was pretty great, and not really what I expected either. It was like there's been a lot of like, you guys are familiar with Rashomon, right? Like the multiple perspectives on a single story. It's basically like a movie trope now.
Yeah,
I'm familiar now.
Okay, so I mean, if Always Sunny in Philadelphia has done it, so you know it.
I got you.
But yeah, it's sort of that same. That's where, as far as I understand, where that sort of storytelling originated or became popularized. And it's a Japanese film about a woman who is raped. She's raped, and her husband who is murdered by a cutthroat or whatever. And it's all about them trying to figure out who killed them and why. And then everybody has a different story of the same events. It's a really interesting fucking movie, and I recommend that. What else did I watch? Shit, I should have written this down. As always, I did not. I mentioned Paths to Glory already before, which was great. And I watched. This is not Criterion, but I watched a movie called Ticks, primarily to annoy Becky because Frankie got a lot of ticks. Our puppy got a lot of ticks on our trip, and it grossed her out. So I turned on Ticks, the feature film, which features Seth Green. And as like in his teenage prime, I guess, fighting off mutant ticks. Clint Howard's in it. Rance Howard's in it. It's
sold.
It's a bad fucking creature feature.
ticks are kind of nasty. Ooh.
Yeah, they're disgusting. But you know, whatever. Yeah, there are others, but I can't. They're not coming to mind, so that'll do.
All right, Juice, what you been watching?
Dude, after our last episode where we talked about that alien movie, what was it called? Goddamn, I already forgot. The
Hidden?
The Hidden, yeah, okay. I had this Jonesin to watch fucking MIB, dude, Men in Black, like OG. We were talking about the dude rolling around in the Egger suit or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I watched it. Man, that shit holds up to me. I loved it like as a kid, and I thought it was just as kind of like charming, and even like the effects hold up like pretty good. That dude who plays Egger, man, that dude does a good job, man. That shit's ridiculous.
Movie is
I
so
don't know.
fucking lovable.
Yeah, it's just like really charming and like really goofy, but everybody like kind of cranks it to 11. Like everybody brings their A game in it. Like the humor is on point, and like I said, the effects like still hold up pretty well. Actually, it's a 90s classic. 90s classic. Men in Black, 1997, I believe.
97. Dang.
I think
That's
so.
older than I thought it was. That's cool, man. I gotta revisit that.
Yeah, it was solid though.
The other film I watched was Night of the Hunter. Sorry.
It's okay.
I was just trying to look it up. That fucking movie was awesome, by the way. That's like constantly, I see that all over horror forums as being like not proto, but like sort of like an early sort of home invasion-y horror or stalky horror. It's good shit, man. Robert Mitchum kicks ass in the movie. And it's from, what is it, the 50s or 60s? And that... it's definitely dated like all those movies are. It's hard to sort of escape a certain level of datedness with that shit. But man, it's basically about like this guy who cosplays as a preacher and goes around just murdering widows to get at their whatever they got hidden away. And it's really fucking awesome. It's a great fucking movie.
Particularly get the widowers, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. He's like the thing is like he's not just pretending to be a preacher. He also like believes that he is an instrument of God. He has a faith of one, and he's like carrying out God's will by killing a bunch of widows. It's crazy.
Faith. Faith, that
Yeah.
shit'll get you in trouble, man.
Yeah, I guess so. And we also watched what is that movie? Hail Satan with a question mark at the end.
I wanna see
Documentary
that.
that just came out. Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
You're
I
familiar
know
with it?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a documentary about the what is it? I think it's the Church of Satan, or it's the Satanic Temple. There's a difference. There's a specific difference.
Oh yeah.
But like the one that they covered in this documentary, it's pretty interesting actually, because it's their whole stance is really like, as in their whole belief system is really sort of centered around being anti-government, or I'm sorry, anti-religion in government, and sort of being like a counterbalance to people bringing too much of one particular religion into the government or the other. And it actually is really fucking smart. It's like an interesting fucking movie, and it gave me a whole new perspective on it, and I recommend that. That's just coming out or just came out.
They want to have a separation of church and state?
Yeah,
That's
so that
crazy.
I know, and like the way they do that is by sort of like forcing the hand of people. Like, oh, okay, so you want 10 Commandments out front of your courthouse? Well, you also need a statue of Baphomet, which was the one from Sabrina that got them litigious.
Yeah, they got sued. Yeah,
Or,
that's
or
funny, man.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and they actually go into some like pretty good detail about like what their aims are and stuff. It's good. I recommend it.
Nice. I want to watch that.
Is that a Netflix documentary, or was that?
I saw it in a theater because it was just like sort of like it was at one of the festivals or several of the festivals, and I think it's sort of like slowly got a limited release. Eventually, I'm sure it will be streaming somewhere.
Yeah,
but I can't say where it is just yet.
Cool. Juice, you watch anything else, man?
No, that was it.
Sorry, steamrolled.
I know, Randy just coming in hot.
That's what happens when I don't write shit down in advance.
What do you think? You're a mom or something?
For 2 weeks, Randy.
Oh, my shit's all fucked.
My shit is all fucked. I've been watching some stuff. So I watched the first like 6 episodes of the What We Do in the Shadows television show.
Oh yeah.
It's on FX, and it's produced and written by Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi, who are both in like the movie that this is sort of based on. And it takes place on Staten Island, and it's got like a group of vampires, and they're all living together. And some of the episodes are like directed by Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi. I think they may have directed them all. I'm not totally sure about that.
That's a strong team. I like both those guys.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and it's fucking hilarious, man. It is so. I feel like it's so much better than I ever really would have thought it could be. Because like that first movie, they really cash in on a lot of the vampire tropes, and they make fun of like all these different types of vampires. And I was like, what are they gonna do with 10 episodes that they didn't already do in that movie? Like, is it gonna be like a massive retread?
Yeah.
And they totally expand upon it. Like they do have like some like your classic normal type vampires. But then they also have like what they call an energy vampire in there.
I saw like from the ads or the commercials.
What does that entail?
It's like the boring monotone dude at the office that corners you in your cubicle and talks to you about like broccoli and just like zaps you of your energy. His name is Colin, and it's like it takes this whole like Office Space vibe that they have going on with like the vampires in the movie, and they actually take you to fucking Office Space with it, like full force. It fucking cracks me up, man. It's really funny, and they got more werewolf stuff going on too. It's just really funny. Apparently, the episode that aired this past weekend, which I was unable to watch, has a bunch of cameos, like vampire cameos. I don't really know who was in it, but that was.
Let me ask you this: clarify this for me. I think I know the answer, but just so I'm sure. So Taika and Jermaine, neither of them are in the show proper. They're just producing and involved in the creation, correct?
At least not yet. Yeah, as far as I know, they're not going to be in it.
Oh, so it's not like their characters were taken up by somebody else. It's like a whole new,
totally new characters. Yeah. And they have like one of the main vampires is like a female vampire, which they didn't have that in the movies. They have like different aspects going on. And they've got this super ancient vampire that comes to Staten Island and he wants to like dominate the world, starting with Staten Island. It's great, man. They go to like these city council meetings and stuff. It's great. It's good, man. I also watched another Vinegar Syndrome movie, which I'm sure comes as no surprise whatsoever, but it's called Frightmare.
Bob, how many hang on, we got to do the weekly count. How many Vinegar Syndromes have you purchased this week?
This week, I've just ordered one.
Okay.
You're slacking.
We got to keep a tally rolling for your intervention.
Yeah.
I think you might actually have Vinegar Syndrome at this point.
I've officially contracted.
You're a carrier.
They are having their half off sale this Friday, so God only knows what's going to happen then. I make no promises. This movie Frightmare is also known as the Horror Star. It's about this. It's a movie from the 80s. It's about this guy who is an actor. He's an elderly gentleman who is famous for acting in these horror movies, portraying like vampires and whatnot, similar to that of like what you might see like in a Hammer horror movie or something. So he dies, and these kids steal his corpse and take his corpse back to his mansion that he used to live in. And this psychic like resurrects his body, and then he starts murdering all these kids in his mansion that's also filled with like horror movie memorabilia and stuff like that. It's pretty great. Tons of fog, tons of atmosphere.
Yeah, they lay it on thick.
Well,
huh?
shit. Like if there was just a show reel of fog, you'd give it 5 stars. I know you, Bob. This is how that works.
Oh, give me that fog. Yeah.
You're a fog hog, baby.
I am. Can't get enough. I recommend it. Recommend Frightmare. Recommend What We Do in the Shadows. Slam your eyeballs into them. That's it for me, though. That's all I've been watching, pretty much. Let's go ahead and get to the main event, finally, and talk about the Frighteners. We'll kick it off with a little bit of the back of the box.
I feel like someone's going to sue us eventually for slamming their face into a computer screen. And they're going to say, Rob told me to slam my eyes.
You told me to slam my eyeballs.
Hey, I just make humble suggestions. It's up to you whether you do it or not.
Your humble suggestion is going to get someone killed.
Wear safety goggles. Come on, guys.
When you're slamming your eyes.
Let's work safe, okay? So, The Frighteners from 1996. This is a Peter Jackson joint starring Michael J. Fox and some other people. So the plot synopsis.
God damn.
And the rest.
And there's a lot of people. There's a Busey in it and some other people. The plot synopsis. Yeah, Jeffrey Combs. Yeah, God, you're right. I'm sorry. I should have led with Combs. The plot is as follows. Michael J. Fox stars as Frank Bannister, a small-town Ghostbuster. They actually used that literal term on the back of the box.
Wow.
In league with the very spirits he's supposed to be exorcising. The scam works well until a powerful spirit goes on a murderous rampage, forcing Frank to find a way to stop the diabolical ghoul in this special effects-packed supernatural chiller that's so fiendishly entertaining, it's frightening. Director's cut includes 13 minutes of additional footage.
Oh, man, that is the back of a box, is it not?
Yeah, I got it. See right
All right.
There you go.
See what you made me do, Jim? You see what you made me do?
Is that a Vinegar Syndrome?
No.
Is that a steel box, Bob?
I wish it was.
Is that a case steel box case?
Yeah, it is actually that, whatever you just said. So this is a movie from 1996. I had never seen this before. I'd seen like bits and pieces, I feel like, on TV, but I'd never actually seen this whole movie. I've heard about it. I heard people chatter about it, talking pretty good about it. So whenever Jim chose it for the Patreon, I was actually a little excited to finally finish this movie, watch it in its entirety, because this name kind of rings out a little bit. What about y'all? Do you ever see this? And would you guys recommend people check out The Frighteners? Randy, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I had seen this. I saw this. It must have been like not long after it came out, but I was really taken by the cover of the box art when I was going through Blockbuster. So yeah, I rented it once, It like I didn't hate it. I wouldn't say the first time I saw it, but I was pretty young and I didn't like. I felt like it was pretty schmaltzy and cheesy. And at the time, I was kind of like that's around the era where I was like dipping my toes into like Scream 1 and Halloween and shit.
Yeah.
Like where things were getting real slashery in my world. And so I was watching this like, yeah, ghost story, and it's got a lot of like dumb jokes going. I don't know. Like I was entering teenhood where like I was not going to just settle for a fart joke unless it was coming out of my own mouth. So, you know, I would
the
rather
fart or the joke.
I would
coming out of your mouth.
the fart.
Okay.
No, but like you know, I was just more interested in like seeing how hardcore I could handle it and all that shit. So when I got the Frighteners, it really didn't like fit that bill for me. So I was interested to see it again after so many years, when like, you know, I kind of have a better categorization for how different like kinds of movies, different kinds of horror can work. So I would say like, I don't know. I would recommend this sort of as like a family horror feature almost. Like if you're entering like, if you're like 9 or 10, or you got a kid that's 9 or 10 and that kid's interested in horror movies, this is probably a good bet for that age, I would say.
Yeah, cool. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I never seen this movie, and I actually had never heard of this movie. I was not familiar with it at all. I went in completely blind, 100%. Like, didn't even watch the trailer. In fact, like when Michael J. Fox showed up, I was like, oh, no shit. Like, had no idea, nothing. So yeah, I would agree with Randy. It definitely feels, I was just looking, it came out in 96, and it's got a little bit of kind of like the Casper vibe. It reminds, even like the way with the music kind of bumps around and stuff like that. That's kind of what it reminded me of. It just doesn't have that quite like Halloween feel. Like it's not Halloween in the movie like it is in Casper. But it does feel like, and it came out around the same time, so it feels like a good, you know, kid-friendly, those kind of jokey moments or whatever movie, but not something that's like super scary by any means or anything, but mainly for kids, or if you're looking for like a fun family comedy, I guess.
It like hits that sweet spot where it's between, it's not like, it's got some scary moments, and it's got actually some like reasonably brutal violence. It's just sort of like CG to the point where it's not really like, it doesn't really strike as scary.
Yeah.
So it kind of hits this sweet spot of like being the almost violent and no bad sexy times, no naughtiness going on either. So it's like that core American value family core movie.
Yeah.
There's no racy scenes, but there is just enough violence to keep your 10-year-old entertained.
You do get some Jeffrey Combs upper male nudity, though, so watch out for that.
A man's chest? Is that what we're going for?
Yeah, that'll make your pants a little tight, all right?
We do see some nipples, and they are Jeffrey Combs's.
Yeah, I think,
Hashtag daddy stains.
Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Yeah, let your kids watch this movie. I don't know that I'd really recommend this to adults. I don't know that I would, but yeah, I think it's probably pretty solid for kids. I think, yeah, for sure. So let's go ahead and get into the main event. I'll drop that spoiler warning, and we'll cut this bad boy up. Here we go. Alrighty, The Frighteners, 1996. So I think. So right when this movie starts, the first thing that I noticed about it is the freaking music, the score, which as the credits roll, you find out is done by Danny Elfman, is fucking dope. I really, really like the music in this movie.
Pretty standard Elfman. I didn't actually know it was Elfman, except that I was just like, it's Elfman.
Yeah.
Your Elfman sense tingles.
Yeah.
He's got a sound that he sticks to. But it also like made me think, oh, so Beetlejuice. Like, when you hear that Elfman sound, you just think, like, oh, Beetlejuice, like Tim Burton. So it's just, like, implanted in my brain from the get-go. So I, unfortunately, was just, like, comparing this shit to Beetlejuice for a large portion of the movie.
This movie, I think that is what this movie wanted to be, was Beetlejuice in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think, like, not just
like
the inclusion of Elfman,
but based, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an art, like not artsy necessarily, but sort of like visually striking. I think it wanted to be like a visually striking comedic take on ghost stories.
Yeah.
But it like the visually striking part really doesn't land the same way because this is proto CG.
No.
I was actually, dude, like going into this movie not knowing anything, the first like 20 minutes were really confusing to me. I was just like, it really seemed to take me longer than I expected to settle into this movie. Because the first shot is of the house with the mother and the daughter running around like the ghouls chasing them. And then followed by that where they have like this thing crawling through the walls or whatever. But then the scene after that is Michael J. Fox like rolling in his car, like running through the fences and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It seemed, and then by the time I figured out like that he is hustling people, I don't know. I was really confused about what was happening for a large portion of the beginning of this film.
That makes sense, man.
I kind of want to preface this real quick. So like, this movie to me is like kind of a huge mess, but I'm watching it through the eyes of like someone who's 30 years old. And I tried not to take this movie more seriously than it took itself, but I had a hard time doing it, largely because the plot is the way that it is. But like, just to like preface this, like, I feel a little bit bad about it because I know Jim loves this movie and it's like got a lot of nostalgia to him and it means a lot to him. But I just like, if I lay into this movie, it has nothing to do like with Jim G baby as a person. We all love Jim.
Oh, Jim,
Friday.
Hashtag hard with us.
Yeah, hard with us for sure. And I know that there's so many movies that I saw when I was a kid that I love to this day, like that fucking Godzilla movie from 1999. I love that fucking movie. Nobody likes that movie. I don't know. It's just we all have those movies that we saw right place, right time.
God damn, Bob.
That hit us. I don't know. I just want to like.
I feel like you're about to tear this movie a new asshole.
Yeah. What are you buttering us up for?
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of problems with this movie, man.
This movie's gonna be like bleeding Rob's dick at the end of this movie. He's gonna fuck this movie up.
I wanted to lead with something positive. I like the music. That might be. That in like some
wanted
splashes.
to lead with something positive. That elf
splashes.
He really brought the Elfman this time.
And Jeffrey Combs for some of his stuff was dope, but outside of that, I don't know, man. What do you got?
I hear you. Jim. This is not a reflection on you, and we Rob said, we all have those movies that that don't really hit when you watch it too late in your life. And I feel like this is one of them. I didn't really love this at the beginning because I was more interested in seeing how hardcore my viewing could be when I was in early teen stage.
Yeah.
I was maybe a little bit too unopen to this movie at the time. But when I watch it this time, it is just like plot wise and like it's tough to follow. It really is. Like not just the beginning, the whole thing's tough to follow because there are parts that are intentionally vague that are like plot centric that eventually like, oh, okay, so they were concealing that intentionally. And then there are things like just basic motivations that are not really like clearly outlined for you. Like for example, you got Michael J. Fox who's running a con. Eventually you find out, okay, he's a con man who can see ghosts for real, but uses them as props in a con job. And they're like buddies. They're like, it's like a buddy comedy between him and a couple of ghosts. Yeah. And but like I still am unclear, and maybe I missed the line that was vital, but I really don't understand what's in it for those fucking ghosts. What are these guys getting out of it besides like him making them ride in his trunk and shit? Like, what do these ghosts want out of Michael J. Fox for this whole thing?
And it also seems as though there are no real like hauntings, I guess, because he has to like fabricate these hauntings with his ghost buddies.
Even though ghosts are
yeah, even though ghosts are real. So like you've got Michael J. Fox and his ghost buddies.
And can move things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can also shoot them with guns, and it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only a ghost shot. You talking about the ghost shooting
at the very beginning? At the very beginning.
Both. You can have ghost guns and real guns, and they both affect.
Oh
ghosts.
yeah, at the very
And
beginning, the
produce
mom
guns.
shoots it. Yeah, but
Like,
yeah.
there's some nitpicky things that I really like. I'm gonna nitpick them because I think it's funny. But like, for
Yeah.
example, you've got the like afro wearing like leisure suit dude. That
Yeah,
guy,
dude from the
that
70s.
particular ghost from the 70s, who's given like Michael J. Fox the shit the whole time.
Yeah.
He, like his buddy, giving him shit, but like he makes a point to say like, I'm stuck in this leisure suit from the 70s because that's what I died in. It sucks. And Michael J. Fox says, hey, that's the rules. And then later on, we see Arlie Ermy walking around as a ghost.
Yeah.
Ghost Arlie Ermy walking around yelling at people as
Oh, yeah.
Arlie Ermy does and Death. And he can change his clothes at will. Like he changes into a boxing uniform. He's like fucking Wile E. Coyote or Bugs Bunny. He just like snaps and like, and he pulls out a couple of Uzis, ghost Uzis, start shooting them and shit. It's like, okay, what are the rules again? Like that's the kind of inconsistency that like that takes me out of the movie, and it's a much bigger deal because the rest of the movie isn't solid enough to like keep me from focusing on that.
See, one of the things like that particular character that showed up as a ghost, and this is still like, I don't know, within the first 20 minutes, I think, it's like, I was like, why does this character exist? Like he regulates the cemetery, maybe? He's a ghost, but he like is a military person.
He
and
exists for Michael J. Fox to pick up the ghost guns at the very end to shoot Busey.
Which apparently
That's the only
something
reason.
that only Arlie Ermy could do is produce ghost guns from his
Sound
ass.
off like you got a pair.
Dude, they use and abuse Arlie Ermy in this movie. I love that fuck. Rest in peace, Arlie.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. There was it felt like a lot of characters entered this movie to not really exist well. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
There's not a whole lot of clear motivation for anybody except for kind of Michael J. Fox. As time goes on, you kind of start to understand what he's going for.
Yeah,
but he's not. I kind of feel like he phones it in a little bit.
Like by the end, like things made sense. It was kind of knotted up to get there. Like for instance, when that like FBI agent shows up, I was like, it took a long time for me to figure out like why he's actually there, and it wasn't necessary.
It's confusing. His character could have been really fucking cool, actually. Like this really like
why
weaselly.
Is he a Nazi?
He's not a Nazi.
He's got a swastika tattooed on his.
But that's because he said he infiltrated the Manson clan.
No, he did. Oh, was it supposed to be the Manson clan?
Yeah. Well, he said
it was like a satanic cult.
Well, no, he said specifically, he was like, I was, for 6 months, I was the sex toy of the Manson clan or whatever.
Oh, did he? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I guess I missed that. All right.
So
that's insane.
Jeff Holmes, let it be perfectly clear, there's nobody who commands more respect on this podcast than Jeff fucking Combs. But
that's true. Yeah.
Let's go into this character a little bit. What does this character fucking want? Because up until literally the moment, spoiler alert, his head explodes, which was awesome. As the moment his head explodes, I was like, what does this fucking character want? Is he a secret, like, is he secretly in league with this death person that's going around, like, murdering people in the afterlife? Is he, like, an FBI and not really an FBI agent? Is he really an FBI agent and just doesn't believe it? And I think that's what it is that
I think he's, like, trying to disprove Michael J. Fox. Like, his whole thing is, like, oh, you infiltrate. I don't know. Right. I don't know why the cult thing necessarily ties in. He's like, oh, I get the fruity cases, but his whole thing is like, I live with cults. So he's like, I've lived with cannibals, I've lived with the Manson clan, and all these different things. It's like, well, why are you trying to bust a bogus ghost hunter? Like, why is that your thing now?
Well, because he thinks he murdered however many people, which
okay, that's true. Yeah,
like
there
12,
is like there's a contingency of like people that have been murdered, and he's trying to pin it on Michael Fox. But
if y'all don't mind indulging me, I'm gonna try and encapsulate the plot of this movie just like very, very quickly, like in a couple minutes.
Have at it, big dog.
All right, buddy.
All right, so we got Michael J. Fox, who is Frank Bannister. His wife is murdered, and he's got this like trio of ghosts that he's running this con with. And then he runs into this dude's fence, who turns out to be like this jock, roided out douchebag, who's got a girlfriend who's also a doctor. Her name is Lucy. Lucy goes to make a house call and help this crazy lady named Patricia, who's hurt her hand, who lives with her mother. It turns out that Patricia is crazy because her and her boyfriend, or her now dead boyfriend who's electrocuted, are psychopaths, and they went on this murderous rampage and killed 12 people in this sanitarium, which Patricia and her mother now live in the abandoned sanitarium for some reason that I don't understand why. So
no, they don't.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
No.
Okay.
It's just like close by.
It's a haunted mansion. That's all.
So Michael J. Fox was like kind of under suspicion for murdering his wife very loosely, and then now that this Grim Reaper character is coming to town and starts killing people again, he's like under suspicion for killing these people too for some reason. And this FBI Nazi guy comes into town, and he's on the case trying to bust Michael J. Fox. And then Michael J. Fox starts to fall in love with Lucy, who then like freezes Michael J. Fox and like puts him like in a near-death experience, and like try and kill this Grim Reaper.
Really paying off that doctor.
Who the Grim Reaper character just turns out to be the murderous psychopath who was electrocuted, played by Busey. Who, like, why the fuck is he dressing up as the Grim Reaper? Who is he hiding from? I don't understand that at all. Anyway, and it all sort of like culminates in this like big chase through this abandoned sanitarium place. And like Michael J. Fox, who he actually does die for the second time, somehow rips Patricia's soul from her body, who basically Patricia and the ghost Busey are just like killing people again. That's sort of like the big reveal at the end. He like rips Patricia's soul from her body and starts dragging her to heaven with him, but then Busey steals her back, and then they fall to hell down this like big dragon serpent esophagus.
They got a sandworm.
Yeah.
The movie even has a sandworm.
And then it ends happily ever after with Michael J. Fox and Lucy together, and all of a sudden Lucy can see dead people too because she survived a traumatic experience, and that's kind of the loose plot of the movie. So, are you sure they don't live in the sanitarium? Because they're in the house running around, and then they all of a sudden find the ashes of Busey, and they're like, "Oh, we got to take this to a church. We got to take it to the other side, which is going to I don't know what."
That's in their house, and they like run outside. So it's like seems like it's close by, but
I thought they said like it's
the sanitarium's
on the
like four stories tall, because they're like, oh, the church is on the fourth floor or whatever. Like they actually enter it. You see them enter it.
Okay, I guess it's just close. Whatever. It all looks dark and spooky. That's the rough plot of this movie, and I skipped over some stuff.
Actually, I had forgotten about a lot of that. And the problem is it actually, like I said, it all makes sense, and I actually think that there's motivation for every character, except it's really muddy, and a lot of it didn't need to exist to tell this particular story, and oh man, it's way too long. It's like 2 hours long. And there's just so many things, like even like, I mean, it makes sense kind of on paper, but it doesn't flow well. Like I was just thinking about, there's a whole scene where Michael J. Fox like has to go to meet Lucy, like he has to go to her house and like do the whole fake ghost thing, but then they also have like a dinner scene where like her boyfriend died and he's a ghost, and you have this whole little subplot where Ray, the boyfriend, is a ghost, and that's like its own thing, and then the FBI guy is like his own thing, and then the whole like killer, like that's its own thing, and then the whole like ghost like heist, like that's its own thing, and then like Michael J. Fox being accused of murder, like that's its own thing. Like there's just so many things that you have to be told about that you're like trying to like keep tallies on that. By the end, like it's like, yeah, okay, you need to know, like that's why the FBI agent comes. That's the conflict. Of course he was accused of murder. His wife died, and that's how he can see ghosts. And it all kind of like explains itself. It's just like as you're going along for the ride, it's just like really difficult to keep up with everything that they're trying to tell you.
Well, to me, it's more than that. Like you can discern certain motivations and stuff, but that's where it really falls apart for me. Is like it took me a while to understand that even that Michael J. Fox was a con man, because when he first goes into like Ray's apartment or whatever, and it's like, oh, you know, I don't know, first to the point where he goes into people's yards all the time. Why does that happen? Why does Jeffrey Combs have a fear of women yelling at him? Why does that fucking happen? Like, there's a lot of things that
I forgot about that.
And they don't really expound on it, and none of it pays off. Ray, the character of Ray, who eventually dies as he's killed by the Reaper character or whatever, which turns out to be a Busey. He's a ghost for a while. They have a little like romantic dinner between Michael J. Fox, the widow, and Ray's ghost, where they're sitting there talking, and that's plenty for her to believe that Michael J. Fox is legit and can actually see ghosts, even though he says nothing that John Edwards couldn't come up with. But she's in whole hog to the point where she can't believe that he would ever hurt anybody when he's accused by an FBI agent of being a murderer. But you know, setting that aside, Ray himself, who is like just a douchebag character, like he's the douchebag, like he's a cooter. He's one of many in this movie. He's a cooter, and he fucking like. He swears vengeance upon Michael J. Fox because Michael J. Fox didn't tell her exactly what he said to sell her or something. But it never fucking comes up again, does it?
That
like
character just completely vanishes.
Yeah,
He's
he
gone.
showed up in one scene where his ex-wife is going into the haunted mansion where Dee Wallace and her mom live, and where we later find out Dee Wallace is fraternizing with the dead serial killer Busey to kill more people. And as she does, he can see what she can't, which is that, oh, it's goopy, and there's the house is being warped in really weird Photoshop ways. There must be something evil here.
That was weird. I forgot about that.
And then he gets murked by the death character, who isn't revealed who that is yet. But he's a ghost, so he can obviously come back like all the others and just be like, whew, that was weird. I'm like, get Wile E. Coyote'd on the street and then be fine. That's the whole point. And that doesn't happen. He just kind of like, I don't know. I get like, does he? I don't understand.
No, the Reaper kills him, right?
Does he kill him though? It's unclear to me because I know he kind of kills his two friends, Michael J. Fox's two like.
No, the Reaper kills Ray. The Reaper he dismembers him as a ghost and dumps his like intestines and everything on top of Lucy's car as she's leaving.
I saw that, but I thought that was just another case of like Michael J. Fox getting run over by a car and then having his chest cave and then pop back out.
No. I'm talking about Ray.
No, I know. I'm saying like, but what are the rules? Is the question. Like, what are the?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the rules are the Reaper can kill Ghost, which I don't even know what that is. But
killing a ghost, according to the lore, means you either go to heaven or hell or whatever, and you can finally change your polyester clothes. Like, I guess that's it. And like, the only reason we know that is because the sparsely like detailed ghost characters later on show up when Michael J. Fox dies and goes to heaven for a second and then is pushed back into Earth because it's not his time. And I don't understand. Those characters are completely underdeveloped to me. Like, we're supposed to think they're like plucky, friendly characters, but can you tell me, like the white guy, for example, who got much fewer lines than the black dude with the afro and the polyester clothes, what is his deal? Who is that guy?
I think he's like from the 50s because he's got like that like Letterman jacket. But yeah,
like he's acting like a college kid or something. But they don't really go into it. He's just sort of like a meek counterpart. It's like having two sidekicks that don't have any jokes or don't like anything. Like they do. The thing is they do, but it doesn't feel like they do, and I can't explain that.
Yeah. Also, there's a scene where one of the buddy ghosts, which is an old cowboy or something, fucks a mummy.
He does fuck a mummy. He fucks
They don't
fucking
call him
mummy.
the hanging judge for nothing.
Like that's the raciest part of this movie. And by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but that actor was Gomez Adams, the original.
Oh shit! No, I didn't.
You can't really tell because he's like got a huge prosthetic on his face. But...
Yeah. So yeah, that dude fucks a mummy. That was weird.
and disappears again. Fucking disappears.
And then, he shoots the Reaper, and then he gets cut in half, and that's where you
Does
also
he?
assume that the Reaper can kill Ghost, because then they're like, "No, Judge,"
So
but you don't care because you just saw him fuck a mummy, and
can any ghost kill any other ghost?
Well, I don't know, because Judge comes in and he's
Maybe.
like shooting the guns at the Reaper, and he's like, "Yeah, I got him." But then the Reaper seems to have a special like scythe that like cuts Ghost in half.
Yeah, maybe it's just that can do it, because Michael J. Fox shoots the Reaper like with his giant Arlie Ermy guns and at least subdues him, but he's not dead. He comes back.
Oh, yeah, that's a little unclear.
So I don't know.
Unclear.
So where does that special
written.
come from? And that's why this movie I think works. Like the logic is almost there, but it's like so muddled by like no. I think like Juice is right. Like on paper, if you were to take this lore and like sort of like really solidify it, and then like give the audience a clue about it from the beginning instead of just like sort of like I don't know, not even easing them into it, just sort of like adding a bunch of people yelling contradictory things at each other right away. Like, I don't know. I think it could have been more interesting than it was. And it also is like their propensity to go for the really dumb jokes, even in like moments that are supposed to be really tense. It's pretty fucking distracting. I don't know about you guys, but I like after a while, I'm like, okay, I'm tired of one-liners, man. Like they're not working for me here.
Yeah, none of it is like really solid to me. It's so like we're following Michael J. Fox, and he just like can do different things as the movie progresses. It's almost like they're like, hey, maybe we should have this cool effect here, but we have to justify that by allowing Michael J. Fox to be able to see into the past for some reason. He can just do that now,
or he can just have death experiences and come back multiple times.
I didn't even like by that time of the movie. You're right. I didn't even process that as like, why can't he do this? But
all of a sudden he can just
there's a relinquishing of power as a viewer.
Yeah. I
like,
honestly, until this moment, did not even consider that.
Yeah,
at a certain point,
because the rest of the movie is just throwing whatever it can at the wall. So like, why
not? That's really funny. That doesn't make a lick of sense.
I like the Dee Wallace character. I like that like they concealed that pretty well, I thought, but that's because the whole movie was fucking confusing, I think, about what her intentions, which turns out she's part and parcel to the murders.
I couldn't figure out why she didn't just kill her mom at any old time.
That's a great question.
Her mom is like this huge ass bitch, and you think, oh, she's the bad guy, and she's like keeping her suppressed in the house. But then Lucy goes, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna set you free. Oh, it turns out that chick is actually controlling the Reaper. She's the one who like helped him escape from hell and gave him his powers or whatever. And she's actually a psychopath too. She actually enjoys it, and then she just kills her mom. So I'm like, well,
which could have happened a lot earlier.
Yeah, because she does it like without Lucy there. It's not like she gets like a weapon from Lucy or like she just kills her. She just stabs her.
Well, she has that utility knife the whole time. She could have just used that,
Oh yeah, and was that explained? Was that explained?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, so that was the murder weapon used to kill Michael J. Fox's wife. That conveniently had like his initials written on it because it was his tool.
I know, but how did she get it?
Because it was in his.
Killed his wife.
I know, but how did she get it?
Oh, yeah,
it was in their car. They had a car crash. Okay. They found her and killed her, and then carved a number into her forehead, which was like their thing. Yeah. And then her mom must have somehow got her hands on it and put it in her closet, which was meant to lead you to believe that the mom is actually evil, but it's Dee Wallace.
The number thing being all like CG'd was dumb, but I like that concept because it's like a visual representation of like your number being up. I thought it was kind of neat.
No, I don't hate that either. Like as a plot thing, it's just really like the CG is so goddamn distracting in this movie.
It really is, yeah.
Like that combined with the absolute like relentless jokes that are constantly flying. Like this movie does not seem to want to be anywhere near serious, but it asks you to really like think about what it's trying. Like it's almost like it requires intricate thoughts in order to understand what is even happening.
You have to, yeah. So it's hard to even take it at face value because if you do, you won't have any idea what's happening.
At least in a Steven Seagal movie, you can think, okay, Seagal got wronged, and now he's going out for vengeance by killing a bunch of mobsters. End of
Judy chopping people's heads off.
I mean, this movie, you're like, if you want to even understand what the conflict is, you gotta understand like all these different people and their really oblique motivations, and sit through their dumb jokes, and sit through some of the like worst early CG you can find. So, yeah. That's where we're at. I don't know. There are parts of this movie that I think would have been really awesome if they could have used like modern CG or practical effects. Like I love the idea of the walls folding out around and forming a human person, which is something that like American Horror Story did that a little bit, and VHS did that a little bit, and I thought those worked really well. But
Nightmare on Elm Street did it practical.
Nightmare on Elm Street, yeah, they did it practical, and that shit was amazing. Like if they had stuck to that method and just sort of, I don't know how they would have done it so quickly, and I think they were just really trying to like make action moments more actiony than more horror-y, like especially in that opening scene where it's like under the rug and all that stuff. I thought that could have been really fucking cool, and if they had made it like today, I think it would have stood up a lot better. It was just too early for this movie to be made this way.
I agree with you for sure. I saw some like behind the scenes stuff. And when they were putting the makeup on the judge character before they like CG'd over it, like all of that makeup was practical. They had this like crazy jaw that they made and glued onto his chin, and it was kind of flapping around when he talked, and it looked really, really cool. And then I guess they filmed it and overlaid the like blue transparent type stuff. Yeah. And it makes it look a little cheaper than it actually was.
Yeah, that sucks.
Which is a bummer. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. In this movie, can ghosts fly? Can they?
Apparently Busey can when he has the cape on.
Yeah. But then you see Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox goes into cryogenic death for a while, and then is trying to like, he's like through walls, like a goofy fucking scene where he's flowing and all this shit. And then all of a sudden he can like fly, like really rickety style. Like,
but then Ray can't because he can't get out of the grave by himself.
Right.
But then I feel like the other ghosts can, like the buddy ghost.
But they don't. They could fly next to the car instead.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Why does Michael J. Fox, when he's killed at the very end, why does he get sucked up into like the heaven portal? Because he was killed, but he wasn't killed as a ghost. And like, why?
I think they do cover that actually. That like when you die, like right away, you're given the choice to go beyond or you're a choice to stick around, and I think they say, oh, it's like another year before you get another chance, unless I guess you are destroyed by
die again.
Man, that's fucking too much.
Right, like you have to decipher so many like different. It's like
a lot of weird rules that don't need to exist. Like why do I need to know?
It's like going to someone's house for like a silly board game, and then that board game's rules take like an hour to decipher. You just don't want to fucking play anymore. You don't even want to make jokes about it. You just want to go home.
That's a pretty good analogy.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I kind of wish this movie was what the trailer makes it look like it is. So like just Michael J. Fox and his ghost buddies pulling this con, and then they get into like a case that's legit and they don't know how to handle it. Like, I wish that's all it was.
You just described one of the Insidious movies, but go on.
Yeah, but from 1996 with Michael J. Fox. I don't know. I wish that's all it was. All this extra crap just gets in the way and like just fudges the movie up, man.
This is like still early Peter Jackson tone too. This is before he like proved that he could go dramatic for real, and instead of like sort of this bombastic, over the top, sort of like fucking Bad Taste style, like Video Nasty sort of drama, and
nasty.
So it it doesn't really resonate on any single level for me, except that I like a few of the actors and some of the scenes are fun enough. Like let's go to Jeff Combs. I love watching Jeff Combs do his shit. Him being like squirrely as shit, I enjoy it. I just really wish I understood why or the motivation behind anything of it. And by the end, it's not really that much clearer for me, or it wasn't like that. Like I kind of expected more from him. I thought him to be like an undercover agent of death or something, or to at one point he has the girl locked up in a cemetery because he took her to a cemetery because why not? I don't know. He's just like, I like cemeteries, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, he's gonna keep her there for like 12 hours or something. To let Michael J. Fox die, like I get it.
She needs to release Michael J. Fox from a freezer so that he won't die, because those are the rules of cryogenic death that we've established for some reason. Anyway, but he's there, and then he gets out of the car because she yells at him, and he's afraid of girls yelling for some reason, and he starts thinking, he shows off his mutilated chest, talking about shit, and he's like, it's like he's trying to use powers, and the car starts backing out because Michael J. Fox's ghost is driving the car now.
Yeah, so ghosts can drive cars.
Ghosts can drive cars, and fucking like Jeff Combs is sitting there like, oh, I have power. So was he after power the whole time, like otherworldly power, or was he dubious of it? What is
Remember when he kind of comes clean to Michael J. Fox about how he's like really hunting him, and he thinks so he actually believes in telepathy, and he thinks that Michael J. Fox kills people with his brain. He thinks he can stop people's hearts with his brain. So
and also that his lead vest will stop that.
Yeah, the first time he takes his shirt off, he's wearing a lead vest because that's gonna block
I forgot about that.
Powers
can fly through walls.
What?
Oh, you can't stop me. I have a lead vest.
I forgot
okay,
that would be so heavy.
That is some like 7-year-old playing cops and robbers logic. It's like, no, I'm wearing a vest. You can't ghost me. What are you fucking talking about?
Weird. Dude, so many of these things that you're bringing up, I kind of just forgot.
That's understandable.
This movie starts after a while. You just kind of have to give it's Silence of the Lambs moment for you, where you're just like, okay, this is gonna happen, and I gotta finish it. So.
There's so many weird details of like rules like that. Like, can ghosts not go through lead? But they don't matter at all. Like, oh, I got this lead vest, and like you're kind of like, well, I mean, it kind of makes loose sense because. But not really. Like, just because maybe you've experienced, like, I don't know, what, Superman can't see through lead. There just seems like loose enough rules where you're like, okay, lead, yeah, okay, ghost can't go. But you really, like, get to
I got an anti-laser vest.
Just, like, your brain just shuts down and you just kind of let it wash.
Okay. Yeah.
But, the problem is, even once you do that, there's a lot of movies where that's the case, and they can still be enjoyable. This movie kind of like it's really on the line with that because it relies so heavily on some of those details later on. And primarily for me, it still goes back to you just don't know what people are after. The only thing you know for sure is that Michael J. Fox wants to stop the death character and that Jeff Combs is in the mix. Like that's really what you know. Those are the three major pieces of this puzzle. And that's all you got. Oh, and Lucy is involved. She plays both part damsel, part cohort. You know, she does the whole gamut. But we don't even understand what she wants. Her fucking boyfriend was murdered like a week ago, and she's already like fallen for Michael J. Fox or some shit. I don't know.
We gotta start landing this plane. Is there anything specific y'all need to mention before we rate it?
No.
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and kick it off. Juice, why don't you start it for us? Out of 5, how are you feeling about the Frighteners?
Man, this is tough, and I don't know if I hate it quite as much as you guys. But I have to admit, like, it got to a point to where I just kind of shut my brain off because one of the things going in blind is I didn't feel in the headspace to really watch this kind of movie. Like, once I figured out it was like super goofy, I really was just kind of personally like disappointed and just kind of like finished the movie, you know, like so a lot of those things like, oh yeah, the lead vest and like other things I kind of just forgot because, you know, I don't know. I thought it was really long. One positive thing I will talk about, since we've kind of been shitting on this for a while, is I like really the last I don't know 20 minutes. Like I like the whole asylum scene. Once it started to focus on like kind of maybe I guess the horror and the psychotic aspect, I really liked. Like that chick, she kind of like goes buck wild and she's hunting him through this like old, you know, like haunted, fucked up like asylum, and that was like the darkest part. And like you get to see how back in the day her and her boyfriend just like went in and started shooting people up, and so those moments, those last 20 moments are actually like horrific, kind of like horrific in their idea and their premise and their need to like compete with these other murderers. Like, oh, how many have I killed so far? Have you killed 11? And then like sawing like numbers into their heads and hunting people down, and Michael J. Fox kind of like experiencing this. Like I liked that. So like the last 20 minutes I was like, oh, okay, like, you know, I'm really digging this. But to get there, ooh, is definitely not worth the squeeze. I wish, kind of like what Bob was saying, I wish maybe it would have started, or started off, I think actually Randy said it, started off with like the ghost and the heist, and then maybe like, oh no, like they actually stumbled into this like Reaper deal, and then you kind of unravel like the darkness of the town or something. I don't know, but it's as it goes, this movie is really long and it's really convoluted with details that don't really matter. It does have a fun tone, and it could be good for like family horror type films or good for kids, but I don't have any strong attachment to it. It's coming from the 90s, so it was a bit of a slog for me. Overall, I don't know. I don't hate it as much as everybody else. So I'll give it, oh man, no. I'll give it a 1.5. Oh shit. Oh man, that was as high as I could go.
All right. 1.5 from Juice. Randy,
I almost gave it a 2, but I couldn't.
So yeah, this movie, there's something appealing in this movie if you look close enough, that like some of the lore actually I think could work in a better put together movie, but there are some serious flaws, which I've already covered. But to add to them a little bit, I really think that Michael J. Fox phoned this movie in. It was hard for me to like read what he was going for in any scene, like for the most part. Like he just kind of always just kind of like spat out a one-liner or two, and that's really it. Occasionally he would act a little bit pained by the memory of his wife, but I didn't even really read that off of him much. So like I didn't see him as a traumatized dude. I didn't see him as much besides Michael J. Fox doing a job. Which is disappointing because like everybody loves Michael J. Fox, and I'm sure that he would take issue with that, but I just didn't see it out of him. And he's the center point. He's the only character that you have to understand front top to bottom to understand the motivations of this movie, and he wasn't selling it for me. I also think that like a lot of this lore could have worked better if, for example, and this is like the easy solution, I'm sure there's a better one, if they just front loaded this movie with a Michael J. Fox voiceover. He's like, my name's Frank Barriston and I'm a ghost hunter. I've learned to see ghosts a few years ago after a traumatic event, which we'll go into later in the movie. And these are my friends, Ghost 1, Ghost 2, and Ghost 3. They help me run cons to stay afloat. Like that's like, if you're gonna be like sort of a silly movie like this, you might as well. Like it wouldn't have hurt for me to know those things going in, so that I could understand the significance of him. Like when he was casing Lucy and Ray's joint before he's dead, and that's how they reveal. Like after the fact, it's revealed that that's like their con job. It was like I was like, is it? It was unclear, and it was just difficult for me to like get my head around certain things. And you could also like have him cover, or just have it covered a little bit of Baby Busey's murder spree at the very beginning.
Jake,
thank you. it covered that a little bit, and the hospital massacre and Dee Wallace's involvement to some extent, but not extensively, because that's something you're going to build up to. That's fine. But I wish they would have done that with Frank a little bit more, or maybe it could have opened with the scene of him, waking up on the roadside and finding his dead wife, and then a voiceover of him 5 years later or whatever, explaining where he is now. And then, I don't know. I just think that there's some simple ways you could have avoided this confusion that made all the parts kind of difficult to decipher. And Jeff Combs, as much as I love watching him go buck wild doing anything, really, it's not clear what his motivations are, and not in a way that I think they intended. I think it's the fact that I'm still kind of confused about what he wanted or what he believed, even though he kind of explicitly says a few things. He just contradicts himself a little bit. And also, I don't know, he comes to a really cool ending. I love watching his head pop and then his ghost head form underneath it. I thought that was great within the context of the rest of the movie. But I don't know. I don't want to go too deep into rewriting it, because I'm not a writer. Those are just simple ideas for how I would have probably enjoyed this movie better if I really understood the stakes and the issues that everybody what characters want is so important, and we didn't really get a clear picture of that for anybody in this movie. I don't think, not for the most part, except for Baby Busey, who just wants to shoot people. Yeah, I don't know. My score is going to be a 2, because there are parts of this that I think are salvageable and good, and I think that this is a movie that could be remade. Doesn't have to be, but if it was remade, I think it could be a good. It doesn't even have to be scary. It could be a goofy movie too, but just kind of let us understand what they're going for. Kind of let us understand what the stakes are. Stick to your own rules and world building. Don't fuck up on little things like being able to change clothes as a ghost or what can kill what and all that shit. If you're going to detail it, you better stick with it. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to give it to us flat, then you better keep that fucking flatness, unless you have a very clear reason why it's changing. So it's a 2 for me. I enjoyed, like Rob said, Danny Elfman does a great job. It's just kind of I didn't enjoy it as much because the movie was not hitting me right. And I think that Jeff Combs is fun to watch, period. I just enjoyed watching him do his shit. And those are probably the 2 highlights for me, honestly. Everything kind of fell short. I really I sensed something in this movie that could have been a lot better than what we got, and it just did not land any of it.
Yeah, there are many nuggets planted in this movie that, if they had just taken one of them and made a movie out of it, I feel like it would have been cool. But it's just, I think I've probably said everything I need to say, but it's, Jim, I'm so sorry, man. This is not a reflection of you as a person at all. I know, and it's kind of, so Jim called in, left us a voicemail. We'll play it at the end of the show. But this is he says, this is one of those movies. It's kind of close to his heart, and he grew up with, and all that. So we all have movies like that. I'm so sorry. It's just seeing it as a 30-year-old person. I think definitely, I just really couldn't get into it, which is unfortunate. I wish I could. But for me personally, I think I'm gonna have to give this the solid 1 star. It's not for me.
Rob, real quick, is your microphone on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Randy's you guys have the same mic. His thing is flipped up and it's got a blue light on it, and yours is flipped down and there is no blue light. I was just concerned for you, buddy.
Mine is up. Mine is definitely off.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting. Thanks for double checking though. Appreciate it.
Okay, sorry. I was just little side note there.
You're good. But so yeah, I'm gonna give it a 1. It's gonna put the aggregate at 1.5.
Okay.
That's where Straight Chilling is landing.
This is not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's just
it's not.
It's just a mishandled movie. It's just a mess. I think that's the appropriate way to put it.
Yeah, it's not the worst movie we've covered on this show by any means. That's for sure.
No.
It's got some problems.
We've covered The Farm.
For sure.
Yeah, this is a movie that you wanna
Ghosts
like.
of Mars.
Really. Everything about this movie, though, you want to enjoy Michael J. Fox as a ghost hunter. That sounds great. You want to enjoy Jeff Combs, and I do to a certain extent. Jeff Combs going crazy and acting like a Nazi FBI agent. You want to enjoy fucking
Peter Jackson, for crying out loud.
Peter Jackson, yeah. You want to
all are fans of fucking Peter Jackson. It's
dude,
just, this movie was a swing and a miss.
Braindead is should be, by all accounts, should be much better than it was. So it would be wrong of us to let it off the hook, I think.
Yeah, right. yeah, for sure. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the Rotten Tomato segment and see what everybody else is thinking about the Frighteners.
All right, let's hop into the old Rotten Tomatoes segment, see what we got here. Small sample size from the critics. 38 critic reviews have been counted. So let's go around the table and see how close you guys can get to the overall Rotten Tomatoes score. Let's start with Randy. Randy, what do you think these 38 critics rated this movie?
This is always such a crapshoot for me. I'm gonna say 45.
45, okay. Robert, what do you think?
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good guess, Randy. I'll split the difference and go right down the middle with a 50.
All right. Neither of you are really close, and this is kind of surprising, even the critic consensus. 38 reviews counted. The overall tomato score is fresh with a 63%. So,
wow.
Yeah.
No surprising.
Let's see. 24 are fresh. 14 are rotten. The overall critic consensus is boasting top-notch special effects and exuberant direction from Peter Jackson. The Frighteners is visually striking but tonally uneven.
Maybe we're too far.
The time it was.
Maybe.
People said that. Sorry, go ahead.
However, I'm looking at the top critics, and the first 3 that pop up are rotten, and they seem to have the same problems that we do. For instance, story was originally conceived as an episode of Tales from the Crypt, and that is perhaps what it should have remained, as the thinness of the conceit shows throughout, painfully so in the first half.
That is literally a comment I made out loud to Becky as we were watching this movie. Like, this feels like an overlong Tales from the Crypt episode that really should be shortened up. And that was part of my. It could have been a great episode. There's more to that story. If you want, I can tell you now.
Well, hang on. Another one that at least lines up with us. The actors can't keep this film's mood from verging on hysteria as the story roams all over the map. The Frighteners has flitted everywhere, even to heaven and hell before it's over. Okay, so I don't feel so bad, but there are some top critic positives. Fortunately, director Jackson at home with all kinds of excess keeps everything spinning nicely, not even losing a step when the mood turns increasingly disturbing. That's another top critic. So I don't know. Somehow this movie seems quite polarizing, even though the Straight Chillin' crew didn't quite enjoy it. So maybe it's when you saw it. Maybe it's how familiar you are with it. I don't know.
I feel like the special effects are people were definitely more forgiving of that back in the day, for sure.
Sure.
However,
yeah,
I talk about watching Casper every year for Halloween. Casper came out in 1995, and that's a movie about ghosts and special effects, and I think it looks much better.
Casper is kind of the shit, but I will say I saw it when I was a kid. So that's nostalgia
true.
Involved.
Casper is not one that holds a lot of nostalgic value for me, and I'll say that I think that the special effects are pretty much on par with each other. The problem is that movie's supposed to be for kids, and this movie appears to be actually trying to be frightening on some level anyway. even though
Okay.
it's like full of goofy bullshit. I think it actually supposed to be hitting that brain dead space. I think where it's completely goofy,
Yeah.
but there's some
Somehow,
actual
yeah.
like horrific visuals that you're supposed to be like, oh shit, Lionel's mother is a fucking flesh pile.
Yeah. Okay. I feel you. All right then. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what's up. Let's hop into the audience score. Pretty solid sample size. User rating 62,984. So, lots of users have rated this movie. Let's go backwards. Rob, kick us off with the audience score. What do you think?
The users, man, I don't know. The critics got me all confused now.
Yeah.
The users, I'll go with like
Users are even more of a wild card.
straight chillin' special 69. I don't know.
69. All right. Somebody's always got to take it. Randy, where are you going to fall on this audience score?
I'm always wrong about whether the critics will like it more than the users, so I'm just gonna go for 75 and just hope for the best.
75. Oh, Randy, you almost got it. So close to figuring it out. But Bob's gonna take it with that special, only because it's 71. So you're like 1 point
Damn.
off, Randy. I know. But you were right in guessing to go higher than Bob. But so 71% on the audience score. So overall, this movie is positive, a rare form where straight chilling crew are not men of the people on this one. We are all
Not
off.
even close, really.
Yeah,
Off with our heads, really.
And yeah, I mean, we're gonna play the voicemail later, and Jim is like all about this movie. I did feel kind of bad because I thought I was gonna come in, maybe being the only one to kind of shit on this movie, and then we
I kinda
all
thought that
did.
too.
So I felt kind of bad about that, but we're just weirdos because everybody else is kind of digging on this movie.
I will not apologize
Apparently.
for thinking this movie is a mess. I won't do it. But I will say, Jim, all love to you. That's all I can do.
Hashtag hard with us.
Hard with us. All the love.
Also, that dude should have, I don't know. His poster should be there soon. I hope he gets his poster okay. Let me know. G baby.
Nice. Cool. Randy, you want to hit us over the head with pounds, several pounds and ounces of trivia?
Hit me, right?
Sure, pounds. Let's do pounds. So there's a few things in here that I thought were kind of interesting. Let's start with just a fun little nugget. So Michael J. Fox repeatedly blew his lines calling the Judge character by John Astin, aka Gomez Adams. He called him Doc, the name of Christopher Lloyd's character in Back to the Future trilogy. Apparently this happened multiple times, and it's like, man, it's been a while, Mike. You gotta be able to tell these old guys apart. So there's that. That's just kind of fun. I'd be like, my name's not Doc. I am a floating specter, not a mad scientist. Get your shit together.
Can't you see?
It's obvious. During filming on location in New Zealand, Michael J. Fox made up his mind that he'd had enough of being away from his family making movies. He decided to head back to the small screen and star in the sitcom Spin City. This turned out to be his last leading role in a film.
Yeah.
So, and this is like, I think he was already diagnosed with Parkinson's at this point, and I think it's covered pretty well. I don't think he does anything that's too egregious to the point where it's like, whoa, what's going on with this guy? But even Jeff Holmes, actually, his character makes a specific reference to his hands shaking, which I thought, I wonder if they added that in. I don't know. But, he's like, his condition has gotten a little bit worse over the years, and it's a damn shame. But they covered it pretty well in this, I thought. Let's see. Michael J. Fox performed many of his own stunts in this film, and ironically, he broke his foot by a simple fall while filming in the forest at night. Peter Jackson said Fox's injury was actually a blessing in disguise because it allowed him to work on the script some more and edit some of the film scenes while Fox recovered for a week. That's not a good fucking sign.
No, that's terrible. No.
Your lead actor gets injured and you're like, oh, thank God, the script is a fucking mess.
He wasn't using that foot anyways.
If he fixed it, good Lord, what it was before.
Peter Jackson's out there tripping him as he's doing his lines. He is. It's like, oop. Whoops, you fell. I guess we got to take a week off so I can fix this
Sorry, mate. Crikey.
That is...
Oh, yeah.
There are so many people that just tuned out forever. All right.
Like Shang the Mang.
Shane is not having
Shane
your
Mang's cursing my name.
You bogan ass. All right. It was Jeffrey Combs who suggested the Adolf Hitler inspired haircut for this character to show Milton Dammer's extreme sense of nationalism after serving his country for so long. Combs also suggested 2 ear appliances which made his ears stick out quite comically, and several of Dammer's chest tattoos. So Jeffrey Combs did all of the interesting parts for his character.
Yeah.
Like nothing about him that was written like really stuck with me, but everything they just mentioned were things I was like, that's crazy. Look at the fucking Hitler haircut, the ears. I noticed that and it's like, damn, his ears are just out there. They hanging out. I didn't want to say anything, but I'm glad that it's like a prop and not his natural state. Let's see. When Fran Walsh and Peter Jackson were writing the part of the drill sergeant in the graveyard, they wrote the part as a spoof of R. Lee Ermey's character in Full Metal Jacket, with the intention of getting an actor in New Zealand for the role. They didn't feel the actors who auditioned were right, and finally ended up approaching Ermey himself. So they just really wanted to make a Full Metal Jacket joke in this movie. That's all. Like that's the only reason for that character to exist in this is for the gun thing. But if a ghost can just have guns that appear out of like his back, like a video game character, why not have Michael J. Fox be able to do that?
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
So then they just used R. Lee Ermey to prop up that idea because they wanted to have R. Lee Ermey in it. And who could blame them, really? Charles Starkweather, the real-life serial killer referenced in the movie, killed 11 people and 2 dogs during a nearly 2-month killing spree. His 14-year-old girlfriend, Carol Ann Fugate, accompanied him for and participated in most of the killings. He was caught, tried, convicted, and executed by electric chair in a 17-month span, which is rapid pace for fucking capital punishment. Carol Ann Fugate was not executed, but sentenced to a life term in prison. She was paroled after serving 17 years. So,
that's weird. Especially she's 14. Get 14. Good lord.
I know. Yeah. You want to talk about these Slender Man girls? Let's talk about this chick. Let's go. Director Peter Jackson and executive producer Robert Zemeckis unsuccessfully campaigned to have this film released in October '96 for Halloween week. The studio, however, wanted it for a summer release, and the move ultimately backfired as it didn't do well in gross earnings.
Duh!
This could have been one of the greatest Disney Channel original horror movies ever released in October. This is Halloween Town level shit. You need to put that shit out on Family Channel, bro.
Yeah.
Brah.
All right. So this is an interesting one, and I think this is... You guys ready to think differently about this movie a little bit?
Yes.
Yes.
So we already covered part of this. This movie was originally planned as a Tales from the Crypt feature, but executive producer Robert Zemeckis liked the script so much he decided it could stand on his own and not be part of the series. So this was not going to be in the show. This was going to be like Demon Knight, which I think is a much better fit. This is going to be like, or that movie we reviewed more recently, Bordello of Blood. So
yes.
So
keeping it alive, Randy.
So
true to form.
This is like, this movie would have been really perfect for a Tales from the Crypt level treatment, but they kind of like backed off of that sort of like the lighting and all that shit and did more of like a Peter Jackson-y, like, it's tough to say that it was more grounded, but it was more like visually it was more grounded in some sort of reality than those movies. Yeah. And then, but not nearly enough to actually be scary, and not nearly enough actual sense to the plot to give it any weight. So it just kind of fell apart for my money. Yeah. This film was not released in theaters in Tasmania. The Port Arthur Massacre rather spookily mirrored the film's content and happened not long before the film's release. So it was released on video and subsequent podcast. Yeah, so this, and I looked up that event, the Port Arthur Massacre, and it's pretty fucking brutal. It's some rough shit going on there. It's sort of like how all those movies in 2001 got delayed or otherwise just neglected by audience. fortresses right after the Twin Towers fell. Just didn't do well in that part of the world. When Frank's ghost attacks the Liskey residence, Frank's ghost friends attack the Liskey residence, a statue of Elvis Presley floats in front of Ray. Peter Dobson, who plays Ray, previously appeared in Forrest Gump in '94 as Elvis Presley. So they had a little... Ray got a little nod to his former Gumpy glory.
All right.
Yeah, that's there.
That's there.
Roughly 21 minutes into the film, Michael J. Fox's character is eating by his window. If you look closely, he's eating one of General Mills' famed monster cereals, specifically Boo Berry. We got Boo Berry in this movie.
Oh, Boo Berry! That dude's stoned as fuck.
Yeah. It would make sense if Michael J. Fox was stoned during the whole production of this movie. That would make perfect sense.
Would, yeah.
Old Boo Berry, man. Classic.
In order to trick audiences into believing that Patricia Bradley was innocent of the Fairwater murders, Peter Jackson specifically wanted Dee Wallace for the part. He figured that her role as Elliot's mother in E.T. the Extraterrestrial was about the sweetest character you could find, and therefore no one in the audience would suspect her. Which I think was a pretty good gambit, because I can't remember seeing Dee Wallace in any movie where she was like anywhere near this. Yes. She's always very matronly and always very like even like Cujo, it's all about her being like a badass mom. So it's Mother's Day. Go watch Cujo.
Mother.
Let's see. Dahmer's Jeffrey Combs death scene was made extra gruesome when it was clear that the MPAA was going to give this movie an R rating instead of the PG-13 rating the makers were aiming for. Aiming for the PG-13.
Oh,
He originally died of a shot in the chest, which was changed post-production to his head exploding, which was definitely a better move. But yeah, what the fuck? Like, this movie was...
how his head exploded, but like the ghost head was still there. That was kind of a cool...
No, I loved that, actually. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie, and it almost wasn't there because I wonder how many other moments like that they just didn't... They neglected because they assumed they were trying to get that PG-13 rating.
Yeah.
Like, maybe this movie would have had a lot more like cool shots or cool scenes or cool ideas floated like that would have, tent-poled it a little bit in terms of interest.
Yeah.
But they just didn't get it. Because they were aiming for that sweet, sweet mid-teens audience.
Damn, Randy.
The succulent meat.
Oh, okay. I didn't say that.
No.
One second. My mic's on the fritz. 1 second.
On the fritz.
The fritz.
Am I coming in?
Guess it's time to go hunting, huh, Randy?
Okay. The first name of Patricia Bradley, who is Dee Wallace, provides a hint of her criminal past revealed later in the film. She is named after Patricia Hearst, Patty Hearst, a girl who was taken hostage by an urban guerrilla group, then brainwashed into sympathizing with her kidnappers and helping them rob banks. So I don't know about that piece of trivia. It's my last piece, and I wondered about including it because I don't know if including just the name Patricia is enough to imply Patty Hearst, but, maybe.
Sure.
I think that's kind of a reach.
Why not?
But yeah, that's all I wanted to go over for trivia. We're good.
Yeah. Well, let's talk Cooters. It's time to go hunting. Juice, who's the Cooter of the week?
Ooh, this movie's filled to the brim with Cooters.
It's a Cooterific goddamn film.
The brim.
The options are wild.
Ray was my first impulse.
Yeah, I've got three, I think, strong Cooter choices, and then even maybe a couple minor Cooters. Ray.
Misdemeanor Cooters.
Yeah, Ray is certainly a Cooter. Let's break down Ray.
He's like the babe boyfriend, like, babe.
Yeah,
babe. Come on, babe. That shit.
Oh.
I feel like
babe.
he's okay, so he's arrogant. I feel like he hits almost all the marks, but they're all kind of like minimal though too. Like he's
Subtle.
arrogant, but he's not like, it's like, it's kind of a stupid arrogance. It's kind of like a stupid.
He's proud of his
pompous-
lawn.
he's proud of his lawn. It's like lawn gnomes and stuff like that. Manipulation, kind of. I mean, in a way that he's just kind of like a dick boyfriend or husband. Like he always orders red wine for his wife and doesn't let her order, and like he just kind of like bosses her around.
It's just supposed to make you feel okay with Michael J. Fox getting involved with her. Yeah.
His attire, yeah, for sure. And what, sexual deviant?
I think that is clear on that.
Yeah.
I think if we had gotten another 10 minutes with him, I'm pretty sure he would have done some deviant shit. But
sure,
that's an assumption.
Or like if he like scoped out some other chicks or something, I don't know. But like I feel like he hits most of the points, but they're kind of minor. And one thing that I will say is they kind of, I'm not going to give him the cake, is because they want you to sympathize him with a little bit. Like, so when he like tries, when Lucy goes into that like warpy house and he like tries to, he's trying to like win her back even though he's a ghost, and he's like trying to do the good thing. You feel kind of bad that he gets dismembered, and so that's not the Cooter way. You want the Cooter to die,
That's
You're
not the
excited
left-handed path of Cooter, though.
The other two is Nazi guy, FBI guy. I can't remember his name. And
Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah. Well, what's the character's name?
Dammers.
Oh, Dammers. Okay. And then Johnny, old Johnny Rotten or whatever his name is, the killer.
Oh, okay. It's like, for some reason, not making that.
No. Old Busey, which Buseys are like Cooters anyways. Holy Lord.
They are. Nice.
That's born and bred.
That's what you call natural casting.
Yeah. I think both of them definitely fall into the Cooter categories. With the killer, Johnny being like, obviously you got the sexual deviancy. They're like getting off on killing these people, obviously, and like banging it out almost like on their corpses, kind of. And then manipulation. I mean, the girl's supposed to be like really young, I guess, so that's kind of its own thing.
He's
sexual
still technically manipulating her years on.
Yeah, smug arrogance. He's kind of about that life, about getting that head count up. But I gotta say the Cooter cake, it goes to Dammers or whatever.
I agree.
Is that his name? I mean, that dude just... He's got the smug arrogance. His whole like breakdown of Michael J. Fox and be like, you're not, you've been killing these people. You're a fraud. And his whole sexual deviancy thing, like I was a sex toy to the Manson family for 6 months, and his whole like chest rip deal or whatever. And the manipulation, he kind of like tries to get like Lucy on board too. Like, he's all about like getting people to turn on Michael J. Fox. The attire, that crazy haircut, and his like gloves, and just his overall like sweaty, moist demeanor, and like
he's so goddamn squirrely all the time.
Yeah, he is super squirrely.
I love that.
Yeah. Woo. So I don't know. He's gonna take the cake for me. A couple honorable mentions, like even like the judge ghost fucks a mummy and like shit like that. I mean, there's some
He's dead too, though. So
well,
but that's not. He's not fucking a ghost. He's fucking a corpse. That's dead for 10,000 years or whatever.
Splitting hairs, I guess.
Because he likes her teeth, Bob. He's like Bob. He likes extra teeth,
Okay. Splitting hairs. If he likes teeth, you should have gone to Jake Busey.
You need to watch.
That boy's old teeth.
You need to watch YouTube for that. Yeah, that man is.
Watch the
like
YouTube for how Bob likes the teeth.
Also, anybody who knows me whatsoever knows I'm not a teeth guy. That fucking tooth feature freaks me out, man. No extra teeth for Bob.
Everybody, you can send your teeth to Rob at this following address.
Oh my goodness. Do you want to see me move real fast? Gracious.
Everybody knows Rob's not a teeth guy.
I want people to send you their...
That's the one thing you know. Dude, that'd be heinous. I would not be okay with that.
If I
Do
lose a
not
tooth,
send me your teeth.
wheel came
We
up in
need
your
a
front door.
necklace made of teeth for Bob. Please,
Call
somebody.
them
Oh my
First
god.
If
Eric,
somebody's
Bob.
got like a kid for the next year, save their baby teeth and then put it on a necklace.
Death metal. I'm not wearing teeth.
I'm gonna make
All right, that's
one of those
enough.
cheese balls, dipping cheese balls that just has teeth all stuck in with the nuts. And I'm gonna send you that for Christmas. That's their holiday present, buddy. Happy birthday for Jesus.
That's my
I get
nightmare. That is my damn nightmare. Let's see. Let's go ahead. There's like one thing we got to talk about news-wise for sure. Let me drop the bumper real quick. So we finally got a trailer drop for that It Chapter 2. Y'all seen that? Y'all seen it?
Yep.
How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling about that It trailer?
I'm feeling surprisingly good about it. Like, I was a little bit of a dissenter on the first movie, and I kind of want to rewatch it now. But that I like. I mean, some people had a problem with it being basically a whole scene of spoiler stuff. But if anybody's read the book or seen the original movie or anything, they know that scene will be in there in some capacity. And it was interesting to see how they handled it because it was scary. It was scary in the way that like the previous movie just wasn't for that scene for me. You know. And I like how they handled it, and I might be coming around to the way that like this whole thing's shaping up. I'm actually kind of anticipating the movie, which is not what I was feeling immediately after the first one.
Yeah,
dude, how are you feeling, Bob?
Oh, I'm like all in, baby.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the first chapter. I've never read the book, so I can't compare the two. Like I know a lot of people say the book is incredible, and I'm sure that it is. And you know, when they leave stuff out of a book, it kind of bothers me. I get that. I guess so I was way into that first chapter, and after seeing this trailer where they've got the creepy grandma that was pretty effective, and they also have like quick flashes of Pennywise like floating through the air holding on a balloon, which was cool as shit. They've got like this spooky carnival. They've got one of the characters just like drowning in blood that kind of reminded me of The Shining a little bit. There's like some really cool flashes of stuff going on, and also just holy cow, we've talked about it before, but the cast is insane, dude. Jessica Chastain, McAvoy, Bill Hader, freaking it's I'm all over it. I'm excited about it, man.
Dude, I almost kind of wish they had just kept the trailer that scene. I liked that kind of approach to it. I don't mind that they gave me a little extra, but I mean, I think it would have been cool to just have that scene. Dude, I got chills. That shit was scary.
Nice.
Like, I thought it was hitting the beats. Like, I was like, when she like freezes, she's got that like head tilt and she like oh my. And when she like peeks around the corner, dude, oh, that shit. I was like, I'm going to be losing my shit in the theaters for this. I was like, if this is the fucking if they can deliver on that, if they've got scenes like that throughout this movie, I'm going to be losing my goddamn shit. Cause dude, just sitting there, like I watched it on my phone for the first time, dude, my body was just like fucking tense, like the chills, like on my spine. I was like, oh my God. Like I was fucking pumped, dude. I was fucking stoked.
Damn, I did not expect you guys to be so jacked about it.
I want to watch it again now, just think about it. It's like,
have you guys seen the original?
The beats. Oh, it's okay. Just like the beats of like the whole conversation, and and like it just gets creepier and creepier and creepier. And it's just like, it was just so on point. I'm excited. I hope they deliver on that. That's a big promise they made to me.
It Chapter 1 since it came out?
I saw it on the plane this Christmas.
Like for a second time though?
Or some, maybe when I went to Paris. Yes, that was the second time I had seen it. I saw it in theaters, and then I watched it again. Actually, it was when I went to Paris, so just last month.
Did you?
I don't think I've rewatched it.
Okay, so Juice, did you feel better, worse, or the same about the Chapter 1 when you watched it?
I thought it was good. I mean, I liked it in theaters, and I liked it again. I liked it again when I watched it. I thought it held up to me. I don't think I liked it more, but I never had a problem with it. So I thought it I thought it was
I
still
mean,
good. Like it didn't fall flat for me. Like I thought it was a good horror movie. Like I
I
thought it
remember the
held up as a modern remake or whatever, you know.
I can't remember exactly what my criticisms of the first one were, except that I felt like it was kind of had chemical taste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It felt like a lean
Yeah.
cuisine version of a good meal. You know what I'm saying? Like it was too.
Yeah.
It was test tube baby in movie form that just like not test. That's a bad example, but like it just felt too
It's like
um
written
Too
by a
many.
board
focus
I
member.
group.
think you
Too
said like it
focused.
was kind of manufactured or
Yeah,
whatever.
it kind of felt it felt like assembly by number sort of thing in some regards. Although I did like lots of parts of it individually. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think maybe I've gotten over that, or maybe it's just that scene just like reminded me what I did like about the first one. So I'm excited to watch it. I think, and I definitely am gonna go rewatch the first one, see if I still feel the same way.
That damn grandma.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a solid damn trailer, man. So that's going to be released on September 6th, 2019. We're definitely going to be talking about that one. Also in the news, so Joe Bob recently showed Deathgasm. I want to say it was 2 weeks ago. Anyway, it's a movie that I've always enjoyed. It's finally getting a sequel, Deathgasm Part 2. They don't have a release date yet, but I know the script was finished like last year. It was finished a good while ago. Anyways, it's actually officially announced and happening, which is pretty cool, and I'm pretty freaking stoked about it. Jason Lee Howden, which is the original writer director, is writing and directing this one too, so it should have a similar tone. Actually, speaking of Weta, because Weta is the company that Peter Jackson founded and like made all the effects for the Frighteners and Lord of the Rings, et cetera, et cetera. I think Jason Lee Howden actually got his start working for Weta, if I recall correctly, as like a special effects dude.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes hand in hand there. I don't know. Yeah,
That could be good.
you guys excited about that? How you feeling?
Deathgasm the first was not like it was a movie I liked. I wouldn't like. It's not top of my list of the movies for that year or anything, but I did enjoy it, so I'd be happy to see another one for sure.
Yeah.
It also is a kind of movie that kind of like it's not like it's not heavy enough to where like having a bunch of sequels would like ruin it or taint it or feel
Yeah.
it feels
Yeah.
very much the kind of movie that could be expounded on forever and nobody would bat an eye and it wouldn't none of it would have. It's like Godzilla. Like you have your giant green monster attacking a city in this movie in the form of a bunch of metalheads fighting off motherfuckers with deadly force. You could make that movie 1,000 times and it would probably be pretty entertaining each time.
Yeah. I'm down with it. I say bring that shit on. Bring it on. Last bit of news, real quick. So, kind of speaking of Joe Bob again, actually, because this past Friday he showed Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which is the directorial debut of Anna Lily Amirpour, who has just announced that her next movie is going to be a female starring remake of the movie Cliffhanger, which I've never seen.
I've actually never seen that. Isn't that like an 80s classic or like
That's
early night, like
Sly
91
Stallone
or
movie.
something?
So have you ever seen Ace Ventura
Yeah.
When Nature Calls?
Yeah.
Ace Ventura When Nature Calls starts with a parody of Cliffhanger where he's climbing across. I'm pretty sure that's what movie it's parodying.
With the monkey.
With the monkey or the raccoon or whatever, and the raccoon falls and he has
raccoon.
So yeah, it's basically that just minus the raccoon and the goofiness. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that'd be interesting to see. It's basically sounds like they're taking the badass. If you just took one of the badass chicks from The Descent and put them in that storyline, I'm sure that'd be basically what it is.
Yeah.
No, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, that's not a movie that to me screams for a remake, but it's also not one that I feel is too precious to be remade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Jason Momoa is going to be in it in some fashion. Amirpour said, "We're setting out to create a thrill ride on the mountain which taps into the of an action movie. We see a person capable of doing to survive in the most extreme situations, pushed to the limits. Add to that some high stakes espionage and a badass female mountain climber as the lead, and it becomes a truly epic reinvention of what made the original Cliffhanger so much fun and so thrilling. So that's interesting. That's kind of like a little more high profile than the movies that she's made in the past. And I don't know if this actually ended up being made or not. So she did Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, The Bad Batch. And then I remember covering a news story a couple years ago, probably by now, where she was going to be making this movie that was set in New Orleans about like voodoo centric New Orleans with vampires or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they made that and that's going to come out soon and this is her next thing, or if that just fell apart and then now she's doing it. I kind of hope they made that New Orleans movie. That's
yeah, I hope they make that too, or have made it. Hopefully it's fucking good.
Yeah, hopefully it is good. That the Bad Batch, man, had it was beautiful, but not great. Yeah. I don't know.
That movie was not good.
Yeah, it was a little rough around the edges, but
it was rough through the core.
Not
just the edges. Straight through the middle.
So that's pretty much all I had for the news. Let's go ahead and get to our voicemail segment. Hotline Scream, aka voicemails from a place I like to call the Further.
You know
so we only got
one. I concede.
Hotline Scream.
I'm so tired of the dual name.
We got Jim G Baby. He called in, and we were having some sort of connectivity issue. He left a couple voicemails, and they were breaking up a little bit. So I did my best to kind of cut them together. So halfway through this voicemail, it might sound like a voicemail just starts, and that's because that's exactly what happens. So just bear with us there. I'm going to go ahead and play this. It's a couple minutes long, and let's go ahead and hear what Jim has to say. Here we go.
I'll keep an eye on. Man, I feel. I hope I got that the trivia that he wanted to put out there. I feel real guilty if, on top of not really loving the movie, I also failed his trivia knowledge.
I think he was talking about how Michael J. Fox kept saying Doc. So you got it. You got it. In there.
Okay. Oh, okay, good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jim, thanks for letting us rip apart your favorite movie with
I know.
Press and
I
Prejudice.
wish somebody would have liked it. Damn.
Yeah,
Randy.
Jim, if you want to call us back and give us the business next week, you please do it.
Business, my business.
Yeah, set us straight, man.
Yeah.
But
There's no.
Thanks.
Yeah, call in next week and tell us why we're wrong.
Yeah. Everybody who
Because
loves
apparently we don't fit in with the Rotten Tomatoes, so
It's
one of
true.
the many people who disagree with our assessment of this movie, please call us and maybe enlighten us, because we might be missing some key element that makes it work. So we won't know unless somebody tells us, because we are stupid.
damn.
True that. Thanks for calling, Jim. As always, man, it's always good to hear from you. And we're going to keep those Joe Bob live watch parties bumping for at least 2 weeks anyways, because that's all we got left, unfortunately.
And then it's
and
straight to the local orgy parties.
Straight to back to the orgies, man. Got to get back to them. Been missing
No
them.
time to waste, really.
If you would like to call in and leave us a voicemail, you can do that at 904-638-3231. Just let us know how terribly we're doing, please. And thank you.
Last week was pretty good. We had some solid Would You Rathers. Please send us your Would You Rathers.
Oh, man,
That's
I missed it.
true.
I know, you
That's
missed out,
true.
Randy. We had some good ones. Two different, separate ones.
Whoa! Breaking the bank on.
What do
Would you
we what do we got? We can come up with a Frighteners. Would you rather real quick? Like, would you rather?
All right, would you rather
bang
fuck a mammal?
mummy?
Fuck a mummy?
Mummy?
Would you rather fuck a mummy, or I don't know, get swallowed to hell by a sandworm? That's not a great one.
Would you
Shoot from the hip?
Would you rather have a number carved into your face, or would you rather have to fuck a mummy?
Oh God.
That's a tough one. Yeah, okay, that's a tough one.
There you go. Yeah.
I guess the mummy isn't permanent unless there's some sort of post-death coital diseases you can receive, which I'm sure there might be.
Can you use
You
lube?
got the Sphinx. I came down with the Sphinx.
My dick's covered in Sphinx, man. It's fucked up.
Damn.
It's crazy, dog. It's crazy.
It is
My
fucked
nose
up.
fell off, the whole shit.
But that's gonna do it for us here at Straight Chilling. We're gonna be back next week with a brand new episode. As always, we're gonna be talking about the winner of the May poll pick, which is Inside from 2007, the original
Randy.
the French movie. Talking about it.
Not for the weak of heart.
Randy knocked Bob out of his streak.
That's true. That would have been my third.
I know.
You can get back to bitching about your movies not getting picked.
That's
There
true.
you
And
go.
you
Get
know
back
that.
to it, Bob.
You got right
You
back
know
on that horse, buddy.
How's the poll
Like
doing
it's
for
my
next
job.
month, Bob? What's on top?
What was it? Was The Wailing is still winning pretty handily. I think
Oh,
The
wow.
Wailing is probably gonna end up taking it.
Okay.
Yeah. Strong front runner. Talking about the original Inside next week, the French movie. Definitely check that out. Be aware it's heavy. It's very, very heavy and difficult to watch. If you haven't already, it's just keep that in mind. Anyway, until then, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. We're still one rating away from having 50 ratings on iTunes, which is a really easy way to support the show. It helps people find us that don't know we exist. And it means a lot to us as well.
Jim's getting on there tonight and writing, these idiots fucking
know.
stole
These
my
dumb
money.
motherfuckers ruined my childhood. They hate Michael J. Fox. Nobody hates Michael J. Fox.
That's true.
We do.
It's impossible.
Yeah, you really can't. The man's amazing. Doc! Until then, you can also find us on Twitter at STR8_chilling. We're on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. You can send us an email through the website, straightchillingpodcast.com. gmail.com. Join us for our Joe Bob live watch party this Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's always fun, man. I look forward to it every week. We'll post a link to join that on our Facebook and Twitter just before showtime. Watch Justin play video games on Twitch. Watch our behind the scenes on YouTube. I think that's about it. Leave us a voicemail one more time at 904-638-3231.
There's so many ways you can hang out with us.
Yeah. Yeah, you can hang out with us all fucking week, whether you want to or not. Oh, also, hit us up on Slack. If you want to join us on Slack, just let me know on one of our various social media websites, and I'll send you a link so you can do that. Talk about the movie of the week, as well as all kinds of shit.
Send Rob your teeth.
Don't do
that.
Send Rob all your teeth. We're formally requesting teeth from our listeners.
Send them to 6969 Briarwood Road, Jacksonville, Florida.
Care of Big Bobby.
32257, right?
No.
I don't even remember anymore.
Oh man,
send us your
not even close. But I don't even like numbers being thrown out. All right,
give Pop your teeth.
That's it. We're signing off. We're stopping this right now. Until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling. Sorry, G baby.
Hashtag hard with us.
Hashtag give us your teeth.
I don't like that joke.
The teeth drive.
That's a bad joke.
Send us your teeth. That actually, now that I think of it, that might actually be a Tim and Eric sketch where they were requesting bones. People, send us your bones. For their friend Richard or whatever needed bones, so they were having a telethon for bones.
That's
all right.
Not a good
Since
you're still recording,
we are.
You are.
Oh.